Hey, this is Notser, and today we're going to be talking about Northern Waters. This is a brand new map that was introduced in 0.9.1, the current patch, and I want to talk about different landmarks on it that create some dynamic gameplay that, honestly, I was kind of missing on some of the maps, and it's nice that they have decided to take a look at this map in this way, and we're going to talk about that. The game in the background is myself in my Hindenburg. This is the Tier 10 German cruiser. It's a pretty good game. It's very contested, and it goes down to the wire. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Now, this is the Epicenter. I think there's 3 game modes that you can play on Northern Waters. Epicenter, Domination, and Standard Battle. There are 3 distinct features of this map. You have the east side with a lot of small islands that encourage DD and cruisers trying to hide and fire from behind. The center is wide open, which allows for long-range torpedoes, DDs, and also battleships to freely fire straight through. And then on the west side, you have sort of these titanic islands that are super tall to dissuade any interest in return fire if you place yourself in such a way that you are taking advantage of them, blocking line of sight. And that's what I'm trying to do in this particular matchup in this situation right now. Teammates spot enemy Kleber, who is in the center of the map. We were attempting to capture the center, and you would be surprised how wrong people play this map. They basically go southeast and northeast and just fire at each other for the entire game. Nobody tries to get any crossfire, and I'm honestly surprised that multiple players were actually playing the epicenter objective, because normally they don't do that, and that's why there's so many blowouts. But obviously, we have an enemy team that's willing to play. So as I'm moving up, this Hindenburg, I do have concerns that he could return fire, but he's not really looking interested. I, however, get a broadside Kleber, and we actually get a detonation on this man. Definitely should run the detonation flag, and of course now he has 10, so he has no excuse to run it, but man, that was really unfortunate for him. But I love the Hindenburg's gun velocity. It's not easy to hit a Kleber on the move, and very few ships can actually do that. The Hindenburg is actually one of them. And we do a great shot on the Z-52. We are not close to these ships, and yet we are doing outstanding damage, and we're doing it in a way that is very safe. You know, you can literally open fire in this position because over half of the enemy team is all the way on the southeast side of the map, trying to get stuck in to a very slow play, where I'm over here on the west side trying to get some crossfire shots. And with that DD handled, we can actually start firing on another ship, enemy Des Moines. The enemy Des Moines, you know, your typical cruiser trying to use the islands to hide his presence, use radar, hydro, kill something that's small and innocent, you know, like DDs. But we have a perfect broadside on him. Yeah, it's 21 kilometers, but this is free damage. And we only got a little bit of damage. I believe the GK was able to lob his shells over just ever so slightly on the western side of this island. Got to be a little bit careful there. But teammates do a ton of damage, and we get very fortunate to have the last shell hit. Taking that Des Moines is a big deal. That's a radar. He was pretty far forward. I think he could actually spot a DD. And it looks like the Z-52 moved forward aggressively, maybe to time it out so that he can take advantage of radar or something like that. But I'm trying to deny that, so I, of course, fire on his position. We hit 4 shells, and I'm going to try and return fire again. And I love to use my scout aircraft to fire down on enemies openly firing in smoke. It makes it very easy, and any chip damage at this point is going to stick, and it's going to force the Z-52 to reconsider his life choices. And while all this is going on, of course, there was a Shima that tried to push forward aggressively on the west side. But because of the way the islands are set up here, this is a very substantial area that cruisers, battleships, and DDs can use as a safe zone. Same exists for the enemy team, of course, but we have established ourselves so much over here that in order to overcome it, they have to throw a lot of ships at it, and it could work in the worst way possible and cause them to just collapse completely. So I don't blame them for pulling back and reconsidering. I'm also pulling back because I would really like to focus my attention both on the Z-52, but also on the primary flank of the enemy. I always worry that my team can't handle it, you know, because most of the time your team can't. So we are, and we almost blind shot that perfectly. Does look like he's going to move forward, so I lead him in that direction, and of course the shells look beautiful because of that. Are we going to get the kill? No, we don't, but a teammate does finish the target off. 2 DDs down. That's a big pickup. So now we should be able to capture the center of the map, which of course is wide open. It is a very easy place to fire on and be fired upon, so keep that in mind. Obviously, the Kleber, the Z-52, huge amount of open space. It's almost deceptive how much open area there is if you have someone on the west side who can crossfire in. I mean, you can see just huge amount of open water where I don't have to worry about any island blocking line of sight or anything like that. And on top of that, there was no way that the Z-52 was close enough that his torpedoes could actually reach us. So it really does seem like a really great position for a couple of players to establish on the west side of northern waters so that they can crossfire and also protect the western flank from, a huge collapse. So we're moving to the center of the map. We're trying to capture, of course. One of the things that I see all the time is players just not playing the epicenter. For whatever reason, they don't care. They don't seem any interest in it. And it always seems like they let us have it for 3 to 5 minutes, and by that point, it doesn't matter how good you might be. You need to kill every single one of us, and you just need 1 or 2 ships to get away. It's not a high win rate strategy. But, we're just solid over here in the west. We do lose it from the Des Moines, unfortunately, to that GK that I'm firing on, of course. Enemy Hindenburg that did go out west and now is in the center. He's taken a little bit of damage. Team successfully captured all 3 bases. So we just have to sit here for a while and gain on the points. Now you might notice something, the reason why I'm over here. There's nobody left on the east side of the map. So they can freely move into a more advantageous position if I was in here or a friendly republic was backing me up. So I'm intending to try and take advantage of them with either line of sight or the distance or anything like that. Obviously the west side, the mountains, the islands are mountains in the west. On the east side, it's much more reasonable that you could lob a shell over American battleship, American cruisers, for instance. American DDs, honestly, Americans love lobbing shells over islands. And these islands have a lot of areas where they can do just that. Notice where that Montana is located. He has basically free shot on all of the center ships. Because of the way I'm located, though, I'm a little tucked in. But as I'm backing up in an attempt to possibly counter the Shima, I am showing a little too much side, and you're going to see momentarily the Montana is going to show just how much of an angle he actually has. And I expect it. It was definitely on my mind. It was a possible play, and of course he takes the shot. He gets a little bit of damage. Fortunately, we're able to tuck in. But as you can see, the northern side is very accessible for a ship that happens to push in that position. And this is what happens if the east falls. There's no one there to keep that position honest, and it gives the power back to the opponents. Obviously, you can do the same thing. It's kind of a mirror with slight alterations to the island. Obviously, I haven't played enough of it to say definitively, yes, this is a perfect position for the northern side spawn or the southern side spawn. But the islands encourage a certain type of ship to exist in it. Whereas other maps, they sort of force you to have to deal with less than stellar situations across the board. Some maps just have too many islands or not enough islands, or they are too congested or not congested enough. This sort of has a little bit of everything. And with something like the Epicenter or a domination game mode, you can have the right kind of influence and the right kind of ship if you just go to that area of the map consistently. So team's doing all right. A lot of ships have gone down. We've gotten 89,000 damage to base caps. And working on this GK. This GK was broadside, so of course AP. We are at only 7 shells, so we're halfway to activating the Legendary Commander. But you know what? We're getting good line of sight shells. This should easily be farmable, and obviously AP But it does kind of look like he's starting to angle, so I do end up switching to HE. We are set on fire, and of course I put it out immediately. I'm very aggressive with that. Almost too aggressive at a point, but, you know, it's whatever. And we're landing good shots. No fire yet. But this GK, he's got a lot of ground to get outside of my gun range. I don't think he'll be successful. I think he's going to be very unsuccessful in retreating. He's just prolonging the inevitable. And maybe that's what his team needs. In this position, of course, he's firing on me. So we're going to angle and slow, and it looks like we're doing a good job. We missed out on the kill. Really? Really? Montana, of course, firing on us. And yeah, good job, Republic. Takes him out. Enemy Montana trying to take advantage of the island. These are more shallow islands in the east side. You do not have guaranteed line of sight protection in the east. You do have it in the west, though, and that is definitely a welcome change to literally every map. It seems like every map, the islands are just shallow enough that every American ship always benefits, say for a couple landmarks like Two Brothers Island. You basically get Two Brothers Island in verticality on the west side that offers you enough protection, but you can obviously sail around it very comfortably and deal with whatever happens from the enemy's position. So if you'll notice, friendly Mad Dog in the Yamato has taken full advantage of the west, used those giant islands to move forward and get a nice crossfire. If you'll notice the neutral point in between the two western giant islands, there is very little straight shot that the enemy can return fire. So if you get into a position and you are able to win either the west or the east, each side has its own advantage that opens up. The west side, obviously, very narrow field of fire for crossfire. Oh, this guy's getting torped to death, man. Don't even need to fire. West side, you have that sort of crossfire protected barrier. The east side, there's a lot of islands that you could just hide behind and disappear, and the enemy would not know that you're there unless, of course, they have radio location or radar or whatever. And then the center is just wide open. It is so incredibly dangerous. Oh, enemy Shima might have pulled a Notser. And, you know, one thing that I'm definitely learning from this is if you want to die quickly as a DD, just go into the center of this map. Because there's so much island geometry, there's a lot of people that don't need to hold their fire. They know for a fact that they are either out of line of sight or the return fire is behind something like a giant island that they can easily do it. So I decided to push forward. We know there's a couple enemies behind the island, but I was trying to Hydra this guy, and he did break free. I don't know how he weaseled his way out of that. Noob DD. He said hey to me. He was nice to me, obviously. If Noob DD was on my team, I would be rooting for him. I am rooting for him. At least let me get the kill. But, you know, he's just trying to retreat. And while all that's going on, this Republic is in torpedo range. And he actually killed the friendly Shima. This is not guaranteed, although it should be. I'm trying to get into torp range, obviously. And we get so fortunate that the Republic is too close. He has too much gun velocity. And, oh no, teammates! The anti-torpedo! I was trying to face tank this guy so I could actually torp him, and we actually activate Iron Strike on that one. We reached 140. He's trying to angle, man. He's doing the best he can. I'm trying to make sure that, you know, if these torps miss, we're not going to miss with the next ones. And it does look like we're going to get one torpedo. And, oh, come on, back guns, get an angle. Take him out. That's the last kill in the game. And I'm pretty happy with Northern Waters. Seems like it has a lot of variety, and I like the color scheme and the color palette. Very excited to play this map more and see what the potential offerings are. It just seems like a really interesting map. It seemed that there was a lot of different play on different sides of the map that encouraged a lot of flanking and aggressive play, so I'm happy for that. Hopefully it doesn't settle into a camp fest. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent or the most relevant uploads. You could also choose to subscribe to my channel. We do daily World War II videos, first impression, how-to, news, and review related. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.